What's up, everyone? My name is Untamed Manda. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're talking a little bit about a video game called Stray. I know a few of you have either played it, or a few of my friends have played it. I have actually not played this video game yet. I do plan on playing it eventually, but today is not that day. But we do have some news about a possible movie adaptation about Stray. What? Let's dive in and let's talk about it. So we are getting this from Entertainment Weekly, exclusive Stray movie based on video game. Ice Age director's next film, A Go, and Annapurna? Annapurna. Is that how you... I think that's how you say it. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to go with that. Here's what's cooking up in Annapurna Animation after the success of Nimona. Nimona? What is this? I've never heard of this. I don't know. You guys tell me about it in the comments down below. What is this? Including a new film from Nimona co-director Nick Bruna. Holy cow, what is up with these names? So for any of you who don't know, the video game Stray, you are a cat in a futuristic area, and you're trying to figure out what the heck has happened to humanity and what's happened with you. That's basically the gist of what I've gotten from gameplay footage of this game. I have not played this game, so I apologize if I've got anything about it wrong. Please let me know in the comments what the game actually is if I've gotten this wrong. So, following the success of its debut feature, Nimona, Annapurna Animation is ready to launch its next phase of movies. Multiple projects are now in the works as key creative positions have been put in place, including a new project from the studio co-director Nick Bruna and the next title from Ice Age director Chris Wedge. EW can exclusively report. Ooh, an exclusive. Oh my. Among other intriguing items on the agenda for the division are plans to adapt video games from the Studio Interactive, the gaming branch of the indie studio. First up is Stray, the award-winning adventure game from the developers at Blue 12 Studio. I am all up for some indie games, indie creators. I think that this is going to be following into a golden age of indie creators, because there are some indie games out there that are so good, Stray being one of them that I've seen a little bit of gameplay footage. Fabulous game. It holds up to a lot of the other ones like Bethesda, or I can never pronounce their name right. Bethesda, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Released in 2022, Stray puts players in control of a stealthy cat who must traverse an underground city populated by robots and mutant bacteria with the help of a friendly drone, B12. An animated movie based on Stray is in active development. So it's going to be an animated movie. That already right there gives it a little bit of a leg up. If they're going to try and do a live action, I would say this is probably not the IP to do it with. This is not the game to adapt into live action, so I'm really glad it's going to be animation. I mean, technically, all they really have to do is just take some of the cutscenes from the game and put it up as a movie, and so I'm not quite sure why they think that this is a good idea, since the game already has enough cutscenes that are a lot like a cinematic experience anyway. But that's just in my opinion. What's your opinion? Do you think that it's worth it, or do you think that they'd be wasting their time since it's such a good game? Let's see. Robert Baird, who leads the animation... The studio animation with Andrew Milston, joined his fellow former Disney animation executive for an interview with EW on a Monday afternoon in late August, having just come from a Stray brainstorming meeting. Very nice, so his brain was already warm and ready to talk about Stray. This is a game that's all about what makes us human, and there are no humans in it, he says. It's a buddy comedy about a cat and a robot, and there's such a hilarious dynamic. So there's a comedy inherent in this, but there's not one human being in this movie. I think it's one of the reasons why the game was incredibly popular, that you are seeing the world through the point of view of an adorable cat. How did they pull it off? How are we going to pull that off in this movie? We will, even though sometimes it feels impossible, but we know that the essence of the game and the key to telling the story. Nice. I like it's nice confidence here when they're talking about their game. I think that's really good, especially they came from Disney. Disney does not appreciate their creators, so I'm so glad that they got out of the umbrella of Disney and are on their own. It just means great stuff for us as customers. Baird went on to say that there is something so emotional that the creators are trying to capture when adapting the game to film. Blue 12, he explains, describes the game as having a sort of hope punk vibe. That's a little bit weird, but I would agree that that's kind of the vibe that they're going with. A narrative concept that optimism is a form of resistance. I love that term, hope punk, he says. I think if we are going to do this adaptation justice, this is going to be the first and greatest hope punk movie that's ever been. Hope punk. Interesting. I've never heard that term. I think they just completely made it up, but I'm enjoying it. I like that. Other titles in the Studio Interactive's gaming roster include the time loop thriller 12 Minutes, featuring the voice work of James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley. Critically acclaimed works like Florence If Found and Journey, mythic adventures like The Pathless and Asher, and upcoming games like Cocoon, Thirsty Suitor, and Blade Runner 2033. Labyrinth, though the division's heads won't reveal what other games they're considering for adaptation, Milston does explain why Stray was the title they went to first. I'm interested to know. First off, it's just wildly popular, he says. People engage in the game for a variety of reasons, and I think for us at the studio, working with different creative people, it's a puzzle. What is it about this game that is so popular? Then the question is, how do you adapt a game into the long-form storytelling that is incredibly respectful to the game itself and the audiences? I like that part. But then also is film worthy. The process of that is always part of the challenge. I do love his optimism. I think that this is really great that they have confidence in their IP, that I think more indie creators need to create good things, but also they need to be shouting out their products. Like, that's the only way they're going to be able to, keep moving forward and getting the credit they deserve. Elsewhere, Bruno, who co-directed Nimona with Troy, that word, has joined Studio Animation as an in-house filmmaker and is already working on an untitled original or animated film. He's also actively developing several new ideas for animated features. Nice, very nice. As for the film Bruno's working on now, Baird wouldn't say much. He does, however, point to the filmmaker's past work on Nimona, 2019 Spies in Disguise, as well as his work as head of animation in 2015's The Peanuts movie. Very good movie. You should check it out. You get a sense just from those titles of the type of storyteller he is, Baird says. A lot of his favorite movies have a sort of Spielbergian sense to them, and so the movie that he is developing with us right now is very much in that arena. Very nice. It's very high very high concept. It's very heartfelt, and Nick has a very huge heart and a very big sense of humor. So it's covering all of those bases. Very nice. I'm excited. Wedge, who scored a Best Animated Feature nomination for the first Ice Age in 2003. Man, the first Ice Age came out in 2003. Good Lord. I think, still in grade school. Yeah. Holy cow. And won an Oscar for Best Animated Short in 1999, is currently developing a film for the animations titled Foo. F-O-O. I don't know. It's not perfect acronym for Fish Out of Water, and that's what the story is about, explains Baird. It's about the first fish ever to climb out of the water and onto land. What you learn in this movie is that was the last thing in the world that a fish would do. That fish would do. Sorry. It's about his hilarious struggle to get back into the water, but to get back will require a lot of effort and a lot of change on the fish's part. That's what the pitch that came out of Wedge's brain that we just loved. Huh. So it's talking about the story of evolution and that first fish that got from water to land. Interesting. Milston calls Wedge, who also made 2005's Robots and 2013's Epic, one of the seminal creators in the world of computer-generated animation. He adds the DNA of Chris Wedge as an animator and as a comic storyteller. Exploring universal themes is absolutely infused with faux. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Baird believes the film finds him getting back into his roots of directing Ice Age and the storytelling that surrounded that movie. I loved Ice Age, and I hope that we're going to be getting things that are on that level from this creator. I hope it's great. Among the other talented joining the division is Julie Zachary, a former Blue Sky Studios executive and producer on Nimona, as head of animation production, overseeing and all aspects of production at that word's animation. Erica, that word, also joins as creative executive to help curate, develop, and further define the division's feature film slate. Very nice. So this is Nimona. I think I said that finally right. Good Lord. A common thread between Bruno, Wedge, and Zachary is Blue Sky Studios, which Disney shut down in 2021 after purchasing it from Fox, which I think was stupid. I think what Fox was trying to do for a while there is buy up all these studios, shut them down, and get rid of the competition. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Which has confounded the animation house that gave audiences the Ice Age and Rio movies, Robots, Dr. Seuss, Horton, Here's a Who, Ferdinand, and Spies in Disguise. We were profoundly upset and saddened by the decision of the COVID universe for Blue Sky to get shuttered. Milston says, also, Rob and I have a long track record in the animation business, and it's really predicated on great, respectful relationships with everybody in the process. So, for us to have the benefit of all those relationships that we've developed over many years with people like Chris Wedge or Nick Bruno, or directors and writers and creative people who were scattered throughout the industry, to be able to talk to them and say, hey, we have an opportunity to create something new with Annapurna and make things creatively in a way that you're used to, is an important conversation to have. So what I'm hearing is this animation studio was like, hey, we hate that Disney is getting rid, or these big companies are getting rid of the good quality entertainment, and they have finally taken a stand. I hope that that's what I'm hearing right. Annapurna Animation isn't trying to replicate Blue Sky Studios, Milston notes. Blue Sky was very unique. It had decades of history. There was deep connective cultural tissue in the organization that you just can't break. It's those kind of relationships that we're going to build on. Very nice. Bruno had been making Nimona and Quine for Blue Sky before the great shuttering, though Annapurna ended up saving that film from cancellation and releasing it through Netflix as the very first feature of Annapurna Animation. Baird acknowledges how impossible it can feel to get animated movies made these days. This one was that times 1,000, he comments. Despite the great effort to keep Nimona alive, it was the creation and release of the film that helped spark these new projects that are now in development at their animation division. We just started to have conversations about this. Seems to be going well. Maybe there's something that comes after, Bard says, and here we are with what comes after. Wow, I'm excited, y'all. I'm really hoping that this new animation studio, this new kid on the block, shows the big upper echelon of Hollywood and Disney and WB and all of those big studios and says, hey, we're here, we matter, and we're going to outdo you because we actually know what the audience wants to watch. I'm hoping that that's what this is. I'm excited. A lot of people really enjoyed the game Stray, so I'm curious to see what their take is on it. Because, in all honesty, in my opinion, it's hard to adapt from a game to a TV series or to a movie because the game does it so well. You're basically like, as you're playing the game, you're watching a movie at the same time. So it almost takes that cinematic experience out. Like it's no longer necessary, or so it seems. So we'll see. What are your guys' thoughts in the comments down below? Let me know. Do you think it's going to be a flop? Do you think it's going to be a success? Do you think that they chose the wrong game to adapt? Let me know. I am excited to hear your thoughts. And please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the share button to share it out to your friends. I'm hoping to get monetized, hopefully in the next couple of months. We're about halfway there. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for everything that you have done. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a fabulous rest of your day. And eventually I will play this Stray game. Bye-bye.